Desert.
Well, in today's Final Touch, a BMX biker goes to dizzying new heights, and it happened in where else? Dubai. Scottish BMX biker Chris Kyle faced his fears and leaped out of a helicopter onto the helipad of the iconic Burj Al Arab Hotel on Dubai's coast. Kyle knew he couldn't take too long as the chopper set itself up above the ramp on the helipad. He jumped 14 feet from the chopper onto a 12-foot ramp before another 30-foot drop onto the red carpet that led him right into the hotel. Can you imagine?
What did you do today?
Try to stay warm?
Yeah.
That's our time for now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow. News 3 at 5 starts right now.
Right now at 5, hundreds of households were without power across southern Wisconsin earlier today. How electric companies are making sure your power stays on.
First responders are still taking calls today, tasked with protecting all of us during the bitter cold, how they're dealing with the cold temperatures.
And Foxconn may drop some of its plans for a $10 billion campus in Wisconsin. We'll tell you what it plans to do.
This is News 3 at 5.
And thanks for staying with News 3. The extreme cold continuing to make an impact in southern Wisconsin.
Let's get right to meteorologist Dana Fulton now with the latest on the forecast, and another 24 hours of this to go, right, Dana?
It really is. We are just in the final home stretch, though, of the cold air, and then conditions are really going to improve rapidly for us by this weekend. But that doesn't mean we're out of the woods just yet. We do still have that wind chill warning in effect for all of southern Wisconsin. Now, everywhere west of Dane County, that wind chill warning expires at 10 o'clock Thursday morning. East of Dane County, it will expire at noon on Thursday. And that's how our temperature is going to steadily change throughout the day. Also a little warmer to the west early on and then warmer to the east later in the day. Right now, it feels like we are 30 degrees below zero in Madison, 33 degrees below zero in Janesville. A very cold day for us. We still have our alert day in the forecast for tonight and for all day on Thursday. Even after the wind chill warning is over, it's still going to be dangerously cold outside. Tonight, we're expecting temperatures to drop close to 30 degrees below zero. The record low for us, 22, set in 1985. So we are certainly going to shatter and fall right past that record. Doppler track is nice and calm. Things are going to stay calm in the sky for us overnight. But notice our temperatures again as we head into tomorrow morning are going to be very, very cold outside for all of southern Wisconsin. We'll take a closer look, though, at what's ahead for Thursday evening and when the next warm-up is really going to come into the area in just a few minutes.
All right, Dana. And in the middle of this miserably cold weather, thousands in our area were actually without power this morning.
Officials confirmed that cold was a contributing factor. Our Keely Arthur was in one of the hardest hit areas today and joins us now with the very latest. Keely?
Well, we were down in Mineral Point where nearly 3,000 customers were without power this morning. Alliant Energy said power went out just before 7 a.m. It was restored around 8:15. The outage impacted everyone from homeowners to business owners in Mineral Point. Nicole Fall, the owner of Midway Bar and Grill, said the power was restored quickly enough so her food supply wasn't impacted. Mineral Point was far from the only area with an outage, though. Madison Gas and Electric responded to an outage near McFarland this morning. A spokesperson said they have staff working 24/7 this week to make repairs quickly.
We're going to be able to get service restored in a relatively timely fashion so that you wouldn't be in an extreme condition just sitting in your house in the cold.
There were outages in Beloit, Fitchburg, Grant County, Janesville, and Waldwick as well. Now, the majority of today's power outages were fixed within a few hours. If your power does go out, officials say try to find refuge at a friend or relative's home if possible. In lieu of that, find a blanket.
Yeah, it's very scary in cold like this. Keely Arthur reporting. Keely, thank you.
Fire officials are investigating the cause of a garage fire in Dane County. Brooklyn fire officials say 5 departments responded. This was in the 200 block of Church Street in Brooklyn just before 1 this afternoon. Crews say when they arrived, the 2-story garage was fully engulfed and those flames started to touch the house. Fire officials say that a neighbor's good deed helped them fight that fire more quickly.
That fire hydrant, I live in the village. I know all the hydrants. He had shoveled that plug out before the call, long before the call, doing whatever we asked on Facebook and social media we asked people to do. If that wouldn't have been done, it could have been a whole different result.
A good reminder for everybody to clear those hydrants. No one was injured. Crews from Brooklyn, Evansville, Fitchburg, Oregon, and Verona all responded to that scene. At least 10 crews battled both heat and dangerous winter chill this morning for a fire on Madison's far east side. Dane County dispatchers say that call came in just before 3 a.m. A fire at a home in the 4800 block of Buckeye Road. Crews said the single-family home was fully engulfed. Neighbors noticed the flames coming from the roof. They were able to wake up the male resident. He was able to get out okay. Both cats in that home also were accounted for. A Metro bus was on scene so firefighters could take turns warming up. Firefighters on scene were working against temperatures at 23 degrees below zero, a wind chill at minus 50.
It's the coldest fire I've ever been involved in since I've been on the Madison Fire Department for 30 years. Anytime you play with water in these temperatures, a lot of bad things can happen. So the engines, we want to make sure we don't have mechanical problems and have them freeze up.
No reports of any injuries in that fire. There is some extensive damage to the home. The cause remains under investigation. Red Cross had not been called yet to assist the family.
A Grant County man is being treated for hypothermia after he was found outside this afternoon. Grant County Emergency Management says first responders helped a 76-year-old man at a rural Hazel Green home. Officials say the man had been outdoors for about an hour. He was treated by EMS and taken to the hospital for cold-related injuries.
As long as Wisconsin is under this wind chill warning, which is now until noon tomorrow, it would take just 5 minutes for frostbite to set in. Frostbitten skin becomes red and swollen. Feels like it's on fire. You might actually even develop blisters. Frostbite is your body's way of protecting your inner organs, like your heart, by cutting off circulation to your extremities, like your feet, hands, and nose. Doctors say if you are experiencing any of these symptoms, or if your skin turns blue, gray, or feels hard, even numb under the surface, they say go to the hospital right away.
And while many places were closed today, first responders will still be responding to calls.
The life-threatening temperatures are something they plan and prepare for. Our Rock County reporter Adam Duxter spent part of today riding along with a Janesville officer. He joins us from our bureau at the Janesville Gazette with what he learned. Adam?
Well, Eric and Susan, the officer I rode with today told me that these extremely cold temperatures are a part of the job, but when stuff gets this cold, that it still can be a factor. Janesville police officer Glenn Hageman told me that in his 20 years, he knows that the key is to stay warm, and he says he does that by dressing in plenty of layers and knowing what his requirements for the day are. Well, he says it might be easy to call in sick like the rest of us might want to. He says first responders don't have that option.
Still have crimes being committed. People are still going to be out there trying to take advantage of other people, and you know, criminals still think like criminals. So, you know, their idea is, hey, if it's cold weather and then the cops aren't going to be out and around, then hey, I'm going to try to do something here. But we are out and about.
Officer Hagman says luckily there weren't too many calls today, and most of the calls that they are getting are wellness or welfare checks, meaning people are calling into police asking them to check on the status of loved ones or people they just see walking down the street, making sure that they're warm enough. And across southern Wisconsin, a lot of police departments have been posting on their social media pages, somewhat jokingly, but just asking criminals to take the day off and to wait until the weather gets warmer to get back to what they're doing.
Yeah, whatever works. Adam Duxter in our Rock County Bureau tonight. Adam, thank you.
Many local businesses, of course, are closed today because of the cold temperatures, but the Willie Street Co-op is among several that is still open. Brendan Smith with Willie Street Co-op says they had enough staff to open Willie Street East and West today, but decided to keep the North Side store closed. Smith says the juice bar and the deli are not open at the West Side location, but the rest of the store is.
You don't have to be a member to shop here. Anybody's welcome to come in and shop. So if you aren't a co-op member, but you still need that loaf of bread or gallon of milk, come on down.
Smith says the safety of the staff is the #1 priority, and they encourage staff who didn't feel safe today to not come into work.
The United States Postal Service has suspended regular mail delivery for a second day now because of the extreme weather. A USPS spokesman said the service is being suspended to keep mail carriers out of the bitter cold that set in Wednesday, and it will now extend into tomorrow. And the Madison School District has announced it'll close tomorrow as well due to the cold. The 4th day in a row the district will be closed. All school buildings will be closed the entire day due to the extreme cold. After-school programming also canceled, but given the rise in temperatures forecast for tomorrow afternoon, the district will allow MSCR events after 4 p.m. and high school athletics and extracurricular activities to go on. Now, based on the current forecast, the district does expect school to be open on Friday.
Madison police are suspending much of their parking enforcement during this bitter cold spell. Police tweeted today that alternate side parking rules will be suspended until 1 a.m. Friday. Friday. On-street parking meters, which struggle to work in these polar-like temperatures, will not be monitored in Madison until Thursday at noon. So until then, you can park at the meters without paying. And if you do have to drive somewhere during this weather, here are some tips to keep your vehicle performing at its best. Officials at the Car Care Council say you should keep the gas tank at least half full, check your tire pressure, have your exhaust system checked for carbon monoxide leaks, allow your car more time to warm up, and consider using cold weather washer fluid and special winter windshield wiper blades if you live in a place with especially harsh conditions.
And we wouldn't advise doing this today, but this is Spider-Man and his sidekick Eeyore making their way around the city. Jake Hallman and Todd Gehrman from Fitchburg driving around the city in their Jeep with the top down, experiencing these historically cold temperatures. They say they just want to warm people up with a little laughter during this cold day.
They're pretty surprised to see us driving in the Jeep with the top down, surprised to see Spider-Man and Eeyore hanging out together. But it's been great. It's been fun. Madison's cold, but not cold enough to experience the city.
On January 30th, 1951, 68 years ago to the day, Madison set its all-time coldest temperature of -37 degrees without the wind chill. These are the front pages of the papers from that afternoon and the next day. UW-Madison burned almost 600 tons of coal in a 48-hour period, 3 times the amount it typically burns. Despite the cold, Madison schools were open on that day, although the Cap Times reported that attendance was down. Be sure to stay informed about the weather 24/7 by downloading our Channel 3000 First Alert Weather and Traffic app. It is always free in your app store.
It is unclear tonight whether tech giant Foxconn will follow through on some of its plans for Wisconsin. A Reuters report says the Taiwanese company is reconsidering making LCD screens.
And Rose Schmidt is here to share reaction from lawmakers and stakeholders in this deal. Rose, big story today.
Big story, that's right. The Reuters report saying that Foxconn intends to hire mostly engineers and researchers rather than blue-collar manufacturing workers. A company official telling Reuters that Foxconn can't compete in the TV production marketplace in the U.S. Instead, the company plans to create a technology hub in our state, something tech stakeholders here are celebrating. A deal championed by former Governor Scott Walker may now be shifting focus. The company tells Reuters making LCD screens in Wisconsin may be too expensive. But Wisconsin Technology Council President Tom Still believes Foxconn won't walk away from Wisconsin.
They're a really diverse technology company, and the kinds of things that they will continue to do as they build out in Wisconsin are going to be a really good match for the technologies that we have here.
The state agreed to pay the company $4 billion in incentives if it meets certain benchmarks, something Foxconn failed to do in the first round, but says it will do in the future, although it's still unclear even to the deal's supporters.
Will they hit the announced goal of 13,000 jobs and $10 billion in capital investment? I have no way of knowing.
Republican legislative leaders are blaming Governor Evers for the announcement, saying the company is reacting to a, quote, wave of uncertainty. But Evers' administration is firing back, saying they will still commit time, resources, and personnel to the project.
The type of facility that they were talking about when they were breaking ground and the president came in and everybody was really happy, not even going to be close.
Democratic lawmakers are assured Evers will hold Foxconn to the deal, while calling the news devastating for taxpayers.
They come in with big promises, they get big incentives, and then in the end, things tend to fizzle out. So again, disappointed because you want to see that company grow in Wisconsin if it's at all possible, but at the same time, not surprised at all.
Former Governor Scott Walker tweeted this morning reminding people that Foxconn earns state tax credits based on investment and job creation, and if they don't follow through, they don't get that money.
We'll continue to follow it. Thanks, Rose.
More to come on News 3 at 5. Up next, lawmakers trying to reach a compromise on border security. They meet today for the first time.
Plus, high-level talks kick off between the U.S. and China. We'll let you know what it could mean for a possible trade truce.
And on Wall Street, the Dow reclaims the 25,000 mark for the first time in over a month. A 435-point climb today. The Nasdaq added 155. The S&P 500 jumped 41. We'll be right back. Lawmakers tasked with negotiating a border security deal held their first formal session this afternoon.
The House and Senate Conference Committee, consisting of 8 Republicans and 9 Democrats, has until February 15th to resolve the border security issue or face another possible government shutdown. Republicans say a wall is necessary to secure the southern border, but Democrats say the money should go to modernizing the ports of entry, where government data indicates most illegal drugs enter the U.S.
I want to be candid with my friends. I do think we need a wall, a physical barrier, where the barrier works.
Smart border security is not overly reliant on physical barriers, which the Trump administration had failed to demonstrate are cost-effective compared to better technology and more personnel.
President Trump has indicated if he doesn't get a fair deal from lawmakers, he would bypass Congress and use emergency powers to fund the wall.
High-level talks are underway in Washington, could be critical to the future direction of the global economy. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer leads the American team. The U.S. delegation also includes Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, Economic Advisor Larry Kudlow, and Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross. Their job is to settle the 6-month trade war, which has darkened the outlook for the global economy. If they don't reach an agreement by March 2nd, the Trump administration is scheduled to hike tariffs on $200 billion of Chinese imports.
Let's go to Dana now with the very latest on the forecast. Dana?
It is cold outside right now. We are going to stay cold overnight. Thursday morning is going to start off cold, and then I think you're all really going to enjoy what we have in store for the weekend as far as temperatures go. Now, our wind chill warning actually west of Dane County set to expire at 10 o'clock tomorrow, east of Dane County at noon tomorrow. And that's kind of just the trend of that warming air kind of moving in throughout the course of the day. Not expecting a huge warm up by tomorrow afternoon, but steadily it's going to become slightly less bitter outside. Our Doppler track's nice and calm right now. Actually saw quite a bit of sunshine today. I know Penny and Thor, my cat and dog, were very happy to have a lot of sunbeams to lay in the house because outside it is very cold for us. We have high pressure ridging through the plains, still sending us that westerly flow, cold air moving through. As that high pressure continues to settle south, we're going to watch our wind direction shift, and that's when we finally watch our temperature shift heading towards the end of Friday and then Saturday and Sunday. Even the start of next week, it's going to continue to be well above average as opposed to well below zero. Our wind chills to start off Thursday, yet again, anywhere from 30 to 50 degrees below zero. Notice, though, again, in Iowa, starting to see a trend towards a little safer temperatures, to be honest. So it'll be about 20 degrees below zero to start off the day in Des Moines. By Friday morning, we're looking at temperatures just the teens below zero. So again, improving for us as we head towards the weekend. We do still have our alert day in the forecast for tonight and for all of Thursday, even after the wind chill warning expires, just because it is still going to be very, very cold outside throughout the afternoon. Temperatures stay well below zero overnight and throughout the day on Thursday. And again, those wind chills anywhere from 35 to 50 degrees below zero. And some isolated areas, especially in the river valleys, could see those wind chills get lower than 50 degrees below zero. Our future track continues to bring that breeze from the west for much of tomorrow, but then steadily starts to shift a little more southwest for us later in the day. Temps early in the morning will be close to 30 degrees below zero. In the afternoon, we're looking in the single digits below zero. Seeing a few clouds come through for us later on. We have the slight chance for some flurries or light snow later in the day on Thursday. By Friday morning, though, finally starting off in a better place, about 5 degrees below zero for us in Madison. And in the afternoon, temperatures will cross over that zero threshold and be in the teens for us. Above zero. Those are the good teens. Looking ahead to this weekend, it's actually going to be warm enough that the precipitation coming through is really just a rain concern for us. We do have some light rainfall likely with some drizzle throughout the day on Saturday and overnight. May see it mixing with some freezing drizzle at times or light flurries. By Sunday morning, much of it is, again, still just rainfall. It's not until late on Monday that we really watch that true transition from rain into snow move through the Midwest. And we'll be transitioning to some light flurries for us later on in the day on Monday. Overall temperatures tonight are going to be very cold. In fact, even colder than what we had last night. Last night we dropped to about 26 degrees below zero. Tonight we're expected to fall closer to 30 degrees below zero. And the record low for us tomorrow is 22 below zero, and it looks like we are going to go well past that. So plan ahead for your Thursday morning. If you have to go outside, please bundle up. I was out for just a few minutes this morning with the dog. My eyelashes froze. It was not fun. It was painful, and I would not recommend to anybody spending any more than just a few minutes outside. Tomorrow afternoon, we're going to watch our temperatures climb a little more, about 4 degrees below zero. There's that chance again for some flurries and light snow coming in later on in the day and overnight, but it really is going to hold off for us throughout the day and not come in until later on. As we look through our 7-day forecast, our temperature trend is quite pleasant. As we get into Saturday and Sunday, our temps will be close to 40 degrees for both days. Notice, though, our overnight lows will be near freezing for early Sunday, so any moisture may transition to some freezing drizzle or flurries for us before transitioning back to some rainfall for us on Sunday. By Monday, we're still close to 40, and then the cool down comes along with that cold front swinging through and transitioning any remaining rainfall to snow for Tuesday. In the middle of next week, we're back to some colder weather, but not nearly as cold as this Arctic blast that has just shoved through for the last several days. On the roads right now, as we take a quick look throughout much of Dane County, we are seeing quite a bit of green. I think that a lot of people are staying home right now, which is always good news. That's what I like to hear. Downtown, seeing a few delays, but nothing too major. Even along the Beltline and 3990, everything looks green and fairly smooth. No major accidents to report from Janesville to Jefferson and throughout Jefferson County. Looks fairly smooth. Your drive times all in a great spot. 17 minutes from downtown to Sun Prairie and from Middleton to Sauk City. Then from Janesville to the Beltline, it'll take you just about 25 minutes.
All right, looks good. Thank you, Dana.
Thanks, Dana. Ahead at 5, just 4 days away now for the big game. The Rams, the Patriots. We'll take you to Atlanta to show you what's going on ahead of Super Bowl 53. While Super Bowl fans are gathering in Atlanta for the big game, so are thousands of journalists, many spending their workday in a truly unique location.
If you're listening to Sports Talk Radio during Super Bowl week, there's a good chance it is coming from here, Radio Row in Atlanta. NFL players past and present make the rounds, sharing their expertise. Over the years, this has really grown from its somewhat modest beginnings into a major Super Bowl event in and of itself, to include television broadcasts.
I grew up in Connecticut, and I listen to WFAN, which is right behind us over here. My princess is on there, and that's kind of cool to see him.
I listen to 98.5 every day, so it's kind of cool getting from Florida to come see these guys, actually in person.
Also going on today in Atlanta, young football fans gathered to test their skills at a giant interactive park. It's the size of almost 14 football fields. Singers Aloe Black and Tim McGraw will headline pregame festivities for the Super Bowl. Portions of their performances will be televised live on CBS. Coverage of Super Bowl 53, including the pregame events, begins Sunday at 5 o'clock right here on CBS.
I think they're high down there in Atlanta today, only about 40 degrees. We'll have another check of our forecast. Not quite 40 degrees, but it will get there soon. We'll have more in a moment.
Dane is here now. One more day of this bitterly cold weather.
One more day, one more wickedly cold morning for us. We do still have that wind chill warning in effect until 10 o'clock on Thursday for the western side of the state and noon in the eastern side. But either way, it is going to be very cold tomorrow morning. In fact, we're going to drop even colder than we were today. Notice, though, once we get through Thursday, a big warm-up is on the way. We'll be in the teens on Friday. Expecting mild weather for this weekend, close to 40 for both Saturday and Sunday. And our next chance for rain rain coming in as well. So
what a swing that's going to be for the weekend.
Wow.
We'll be back in 30 minutes for News 3 at 6. CBS Evening News is next.